Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. Right in time for the 2024 Monaco Yacht Show. We've got a throwback to 2021 with this 100-piece titanium grade 5 limited edition, the Ulysse Nardin Diver Chronograph Monaco Yacht Show. In the colors of the show, this watch celebrated UN's then 10 years as the title sponsor of the world's most prestigious yacht exhibition. The watch is the Diver Chronograph with the addition of a few key changes, including an edition number, a color scheme, and a unique date disc. So we're going to go through all of that. Let's first talk about the size. 44 millimeters in diameter. The watch is 16.2 millimeters thick, lug tip to lug tip, just the case. It's 50.2 millimeters. Now, if we go end link to end link, then the total distance across the wrist is a beefier 54.2 millimeters with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, this is titanium grade 5, which means it's as light as grade 2. That is much lighter than steel, but it's also, unlike grade 2, relatively easy to polish and more scratch resistant than steel. So, grade 5 is the good stuff, and on the wrist, the watch does feel smaller. In spite of its somewhat intimidating measurements, being made of titanium with a nicely profiled bracelet and fairly well-tapered lugs, you can see how they sort of arc down. I can wear this watch. So if your wrist is my size, 16 centimeters circumference or larger, you're going to find this is a good match. And you can always put it on a strap if you want it to fit a little bit more compact. It is not thin, however, and while it will fit underneath a jacket cuff, it's not going to slide underneath the tightest of dress sleeves. All the same, a late summer Monaco Yacht Show is going to be a warm place. You won't need long sleeves. Taking a quick look at the bracelet, you can see it's fairly standard. It's got a conforming end link that mates it seamlessly to the case, and then a little bit of a downward taper towards the clasp itself. Taking a look in profile, we have removable links that are fixed by screws, and then we have 3 pairs of divots drilled on each side of the clasp. So using your strap tool, you can move this in and out to fine-tune the fit. It is a titanium clasp, and you can see it as a sequential close, a double fold, and it only opens if you press the 2 triggers, not one, both at the same time. So it gives you a degree of security on the wrist. Ulysse Nardin, famous for its 19th and early 20th century marine chronometers. Its logo is the anchor. You will find it in several different places on the watch. You will also find a little numbering plate on the side, as the old marine chronometers or deck clocks, navigation clocks. They would feature individual number plates on their flanks, held down by screws in profile. So this is part of the extended Ulysse Nardin family, all of which have a little bit of an air of a marine chronometer. Now we have both satination and polish on this case. The lugs are squared off on their underside. You can see they've been faceted and satinated on their tops and then their undertuck. In profile, everything is polished except the number plate. You can also see that the crowns feature satination on their outer circumference, but polish on their faces, and the red lacquered UN anchor right here. We have a bezel with both polish and brushed finish, and it is a wonderfully tactile 120 click bezel, unidirectional, rotating. It has a rubber inlay with raised and relieved brushed metal indices and numerals. We'll turn the light off real quick so you can see how the watch reads in the dark. As you can see, even the sub-registers here are loomed, but critically the running seconds is loomed, so you can see if your diver is running in the dark. And then we've got the bezel, which acts as a 0 to 60-minute count-up timer, which allows you to time 2 concurrent events using the chronograph and the dive bezel. All of the indices, as you can see, are applied. They are rhodium-plated steel, as are the hands at center. We have calibrations on the chronograph registers that could, if you wish, be used to time regatta. As you could see that the first critical 5 minutes, the 5-minute countdown to the start of a match 1 race within a sailboat regatta, that 5 minute is marked quite clearly. We've also got the colors of Monaco and the colors of the show, a combination of red, white, and blue, with a dial base that is a sort of, I would say, a semi-gloss chalk white. It's definitely not a silver, it's a pure white. We have the applied UN anchor logo, and then at the base of the dial we have a little date. You can see it has some of the quirks of the original Le Mans caliber, where if the chronograph is engaged and you try to set the time, you wind up driving the minutes register. Now, of course, If I were to stop the chronograph and set the watch, it doesn't do that. But let's quickly note here that we have a hacking seconds function, which is one of the modifications that UN has made here. We won't get that chronograph back in action there. Let's take a quick look at that date disc. So you can see I've got a quick set and another one of the legacy features from the old Le Mans caliber. This was based on the original 1350 decades ago before Abel modified it, and then UN bought it from Abel and modified it to become the UN 150. But you can see that the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th, and only those days are in red because those were the days of the Monaco Yacht Show the year this watch came out. So all of the other days, as you can see, are blue on a white base. Of course, we've got the quick set, we've got the hacking seconds or stop seconds function. We've got that wonderful gliding feel to the bezel. It's a chunky but still refined and precise feel. Really good stuff by UN. They know what they're doing right here. Turn it all over. Caliber UN 150. Like I said, this movement has lived many lives. If you're wondering what this is the latitude and longitude of Ulysse Nardin's ancestral home in Le Locle, Switzerland. 300-meter diver, the UN logo also on the rotor. You can see certified Ulysse Nardin. A lot of people ask me what that means. It's a whole battery of durability and chronometry tests, but fundamentally, unless you see a chronometer certification on a UN watch, that means that the watch is running between -0 and plus 10 seconds per day as it leaves the factory. So that's what that means in a nutshell. 25 joules, you can see changes here like a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance. You would not have seen that on the original Le Mans. This has been done for durability, but with the recessed screw balance also for reducing the effects of aerodynamics on the balance, improving its stability against shock and allowing it to be regulated very precisely. You can see a magic lever style bidirectional winding system. The pawls and the wheel are visible through a skeletonization in the bridge. This is a 4 hertz beat rate, automatic winding, 48-hour power reserve. Taking a close look, you can see that this is a cam chronograph. Here's your cam, and then here is your lateral clutch right here. So that's how that works. And then we have an anti-magnetic silicone hairspring, and I'll try to show this if I can get close. We also have a silicone escapement, which is diamond coated for low friction. It's also anti-magnetic, thermally inert, and reduces the oscillating mass of the assortment. And then you've got the silicone hairspring. And interestingly, Ulysse Nardin, as far back as 2002 through the Horological Museum, was actually working with CSEM on silicone hairsprings a full 4 years before Patek Philippe launched theirs on the Advanced Research Series. So in addition to owning its ability to make its own silicone through its Sigatech subsidiary, Ulysse Nardin has a long-standing relationship with silicone as a hairspring material, a lot of it unadvertised. A lot of folks don't know about Ludwig Oxlin working with CSEM on silicone hairsprings back in 2002 and 2001. So that's really cool. A lot of features here that improve on the original Le Mans caliber, things that make it a better timekeeper, more physically attracted like those blued screws. You can see satination on the steel components of the chronograph along with beveling on their edges, engine turning on the base plate, circular Côte de Genève across the bridges. And then, well, we do have a machined bevel here. You can see it on the edge of the bridges. It is an attractive machined bevel. This is a really good-looking movement that is still big enough to hold its own against a large case. So lots to love here. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.